Hi everyone, my name is Ukuto Tsuchiya and I am the creator of this new game, Death Dare. In this video, I will introduce to you the basic rules and also the concept behind this new game, Death Dare. I believe this is a hit game. I know that rule is simple enough even for children, but at the same time, competitive players love to play this game because it has an intense mind game in it. So I recommend all of you to play this game in order to find out what I'm saying is true or not. Anyway, in order to play it, you need to know the basic rules. So let me introduce you the basic rule first. First of all, your goal is to slay the other killers and their NPCs. Whoever kills the most pieces is a champion. Let's keep in mind that this game combines rules from chess and mafia. Just like a chess, you do have pieces to play against other players, and just like the mafia, you do have a unique rule abilities to perform during the game. You do have 5 pieces to play against other players, and of those 5, one will be the killer piece. Only the killer piece can attack other piece and perform unique abilities. And speaking of gameplay, general gameplay, this game consists of 2 turns, 1 day turn and 2 night turn. And during the night, you can give order to the killer piece to kill the piece next to it, or use unique abilities in order to win the game. Okay, and during the day turn, what you do mostly is that you move the pieces. You roll 2 dice and get the number of spaces you are allowed to, you can move during the day turn. And lastly, you can death stare. Once you identify which piece is the other killer and its role, you can cast a curse of death on it. You will win if you're right, and however you will lose if you are wrong. So I figured it maybe was confusing and maybe was quite a bit of information to share all at once. So I think I should just show you what happens on the board from the beginning. So the player 1 just chosen this little angel to be the killer piece, and player 2 just chose this little goblin to be the killer piece as well. They have been assigned to a role. Player 1 got priest and player 2 gets archer. Okay, I will explain in more detail what the unique abilities are in a couple of minutes, and also what the rest of the unique roles are too in a couple of minutes as well. Okay, so what they first have to do is they have to throw 2 dice in or to decide how many spaces they can move. Okay, so the player 1 get 8 and player 2 get 10. So in this case, player 2 has a larger number, so player 2 goes first. Okay, so player 2 moves 1 space, one piece at a time, and player 1 in turns moves a piece 1 space at a time, and in turn the player 2 goes again and player 1 goes again until they do this until they finish moving the spaces that they rolled, a number of spaces that they rolled earlier. Okay, now they have finished moving their pieces. The day turn ends and night turn begins. Before we proceed to the night turn, let me introduce the each unique abilities that players can have during the game. Okay, so player 1 has got a priest. So let me show you what the priest abilities are. There's a typo here, but don't mind it. Let me read it out loud. He can protect one of your. You can protect one of your pieces every night turn. However, you cannot kill others when you protect yourself. So he is kind of very straightforward. So this was the killer. So he could just, enchant him or protect him. This Angel 4, and that's it. And if this goblin even attacks him, he will not be harmed. That's the ability the priest has. Okay, let's go to the archer. Archer is also straightforward. He can attack other pieces within 3 spaces. Okay, so goblin, he was the killer piece. He can attack this guy, this Angel 3, as well as 1, 2, 3. So you can reach to this one, but if this Angel 2 was here, he can still attack this Angel 2 as well. Okay, now using unique abilities and attacking others are 2 separate actions that the players can take each night. So in a sense, a sniper can attack twice, while priest can protect his allies and also attack the other pieces like oak. But don't forget that priest cannot attack other when the killer piece protect itself. So if player 1 chose to protect the killer piece, he cannot attack that same turn. Okay, let's get the other cards too, so that I can introduce. Okay, let's say the player 1 role was knight instead of the priest, and also player 2's role, the player 2 is the bomber instead of the archer. Okay, so knight is kind of simple yet fun. Okay, so knights are immortal. He defeats everyone in combat, even other killers. The curse is his only weakness. So what it's saying is that what happens typically, like when killer attack each other, is that they draw, and there's nothing changed on the board, except the case of this knight. So if knight attack killer and killer attacks the knight in the same night turn, the knight will win in a scenario. Okay, and even if this archer or bomber try to hit from distance, or just try to hit him or attack him, he will not be harmed at all. So that's the ability he has. So only way the player 2 can win player 1 is that win from player 1 is that they have to use Death Stare in order to kill the knight. Okay, so the bomber is kind of fun. Okay, so fun too, I guess. Every role is fun, I would say. So he can sacrifice one of his pieces and kill all the pieces around it. So it's kind of confusing, but it's super straightforward. Let's say, yeah, this was the killer. He place one of his pieces to here instead of here. Okay, he can choose to sacrifice this killer, so get rid of this killer, to make explosion happens around the piece he sacrificed. So he can take away those, even actually if I can rearrange a little bit, even those 5 pieces all at once, and that's kind of crazy. The weakness he has is that it is so obvious to the player one once this explosion happens, because he'll lose one of his allies, and it is so obvious that he just explode his allies to in order to attack others. Okay, so those are the unique abilities. Now let's talk about the night turn. When in night turn, each player can decide to attack and use the abilities. In this case, let me get rid of this. Little Angel was the priest, and the archer, this little goblin was the archer. Let's talk about the player one first. So he or she, player one, decides to let's say protect this angel number 4 and attack this oak. Okay, you can do through typing in the chat, but I'll just skip that part for now. Okay, and then let's talk about the player 2. Okay, so player 2, he's archer, so he can decide to, let's say, attack this angel number 4 and also snipe this angel number 3. Okay, so now all the decision has been made. The night turn ends and day turn begins. So what game master just gonna tell each player what just happened on the board. So apparently this angel was killed, and also this oak was killed, and each player can think about what just happened in the previous night. Okay, now daytime begins. Each player just contemplate a little while what just happened on the board, and the player 2 actually decides to death stare at the angel number 4 piece. Okay, because in his perspective, this oak, actually the whatever name of the monster is, this is not an oak. This monster was killed by this angel number 4. He thinks, okay, he thinks that's he thinks this monster was killed by this piece, because he know he attacked this angel number 4, but he was not harmed. He was not harmed. So in his perspective, he thinks it's angel number 4 is the knight who attacks this monster. Okay. And in the perspective of player number 1, he kind of doesn't know which one is a sniper yet, because they're all 4 of them are suspect. Okay, so he probably would not choose to death stare at this time. Okay, so before player roll dice, player 2 actually decides to death stare at angel number 4, because whenever in day turn they can do the death stare. Okay, and simultaneously player 1 can death stare back to any of the piece the player 2 has, but he decides not to death stare. Okay, so the player number 2 goes on and tell player 1, hey, this angel number 4 is the killer and its role is the knight, so I'll death stare him. Okay, death stare this piece. Long story short, you know the whole story. This angel 4 was not the killer, so player number 2 just lost the game, and player number 1 wins. Alrighty, in summary, I say this game is an unique and interesting game. I find this game very interesting because each gameplay experience is different. For example, archer may go against the archer himself, or bomber may go against the priest, or the knight may go against the archer, or all the roles are randomized, and so that players may need to adjust their strategies each time they play this game. So I like it. I love this intense mind game I can play with this game, and I hope you enjoy this game when it comes out. Thank you so much for listening and watching this video. And I'm Ukuto, and see you sometimes. Bye bye.